Hello.
Kia ora.
How are we?
Good.
Productive week?
Breathing. Productive day.
Productive day. Okay.
Productive day.
So, question. Did you do the homework?
Yeah.
Okay. Bought the book. Did you read it?
I've not read it, no.
Because you bought it.
I'm seven pages into this book.
Wow.
I've just read what the 4 archetypes are.
Okay. So you got to the same point as when I told you to buy it and I explained the 4 archetypes.
Yeah. So when did it arrive? It maybe arrived, I think it was prior to the weekend. And then I've been chipping away a little bit, and then had great intentions to read half an hour before we had this call, and then I had a shower, so I didn't read it. But I have it in hand now, so.
Okay. Cool. Well, then the work that we do today is probably going to be helpful for you whilst you read the book, simply because it will help you, I guess, get a theoretical understanding of the practical work that we'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the basic premise of the book here, actually, instead of me explaining it to you, why don't you explain it to me? What do you understand from what you've read about the archetypes and whatever else?
So from my brief casting of my eyes over the first 5 pages was that the author, who I only know by Rod, I think his name is Rod, opens up about innately we are all human beings, and over time there have been these various labels to describe these archetypes of humans. And he likes to run with the king, the lover, the magician, the warrior. And then my understanding of each of those, obviously, without saying obviously, but my understanding is the king kind of sets the strategy, the direction, the purpose of who we are. And these archetypes are formed from experiences we have early on in life, and then program us certain ways, and we live into different behaviors as a result of that.
Yeah.
Which then impact choices, feelings, thought streams, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, 4 archetypes: king, lover, magician, warrior. He likes to describe the warrior with that label just to give it more of that masculine persona.
Okay.
Because historically it has quite a negative connotation with what warriors were.
Okay.
Honor, ego, and that sort of stuff. King, direction, purpose. The lover. The lover. I've not covered the lover. That is the last of the 4. And then the magician was how did he describe it? Almost like forming. I don't want to say forming the world that you live in, but
that's accurate.
Yeah, to this degree. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of this book. It's like I can picked it up today, open the front page, and need to get into the meat of it.
Okay, so let me add some, I guess, some extra clarity. You're not a million miles away at all. I would say you're broadly pretty accurate. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. So the way that you have to think about this is, imagine if you had like I'll rationalize this within a business context because I think that's the one that's probably going to land the easiest, right? So you are not one person, right? Obviously, within the literal physical sense, you are, right? But you're a collection of these, I guess, archetypal energies. A little bit woo-woo, but like you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Most people have 1 or 2 that are kind of overdeveloped, and then most people have 1 or 2 that are underdeveloped, right? And that dynamic within your own head creates internal conflict, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, imagine if you had a football team and your defense was shit and your strikers were phenomenal. I mean, so long as they can score more goals than your defense lets in, theoretically, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
But from a morale perspective, it's probably going to screw shit up a lot. Yeah. The inverse of that, if your strikers are useless, but your defense is really solid, the best thing you can get is just continually drawing.
Yeah.
So where there is imbalance, there's obviously going to be positives and negatives from that, but it's going to create a problem within the system. Yeah. Okay, cool. So all of the king, warrior, magician, lover, they are archetypal energies specifically for men.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, at least, the king, warrior, magician, lover archetypes don't work as well with women. They can still work, but they're not. I don't think Jung intended them to be feminine intrinsically.
Right.
Okay. Every man has all four of these archetypal energies inside their brain. Like I said, some of them are, well, majority of the time they're out of balance is probably the best way of explaining it, right? When they are integrated and working together, that's where you get the like harmonious kind of like very centered, what they call like heart-centered leadership. Yeah. So again, putting it into a business context, this is like having a board of directors where all of the directors are experts in their specific field, and they are there as a collective advisory group for the CEO. Yeah. Okay, cool. As of right now, for you, again, putting it into the business context, as a CEO, you are being ineffectual because your leadership team is either overweighted on one side, underweighted on another, and essentially you're being bullied as a CEO by your board of directors instead of being sovereign, for want of a better phrase. Yeah. Okay. So the one that I want to focus on with you today is the king. The king is, in the business context, the CEO, right? They're the ones that actually, well, CEO or chairman, depending on how you want to view it, right? Neither here nor there. It's the leadership element. It's the one who sets the tone. It's the one who sets the vision. It's the one who actually says, okay, I'm going to move this piece over here, this piece over here, this piece over here, and everyone's going to work together for my shared vision or goal. Yeah. Cool. So the big thing within this is, and as you go through the book, you'll understand it more, but you can have two types of energy within that like king archetype, right? So there's a specific phrase in the book that I'm actually going to look up because I don't want to butcher it.
You know what I'd love to be able to do on softwares like this is actually like close my camera.
What do you mean? Like turn the self view off?
That's it, because I find myself, I do this a lot on Zooms. Like on Zooms, I'll just look at myself.
You can do it on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm struggling to find this, but basically, what the TLDR of what I mean basically is if you have too much, right, of one type of energy, right? So let's say you have your king is very overextended, right? Is overinflated. That's what they call it. That's it. We got there eventually. Didn't need to Google it. When you have an overinflated king, most oftentimes you end up with a tyrannical king. And that tyrannical king doesn't rule from a place of love. He rules from a place of dominance, right?
Right.
Well, when you have an underdeveloped king, an underinflated king, well, that person is probably kind of useless, right? He doesn't set a leadership standard. He kind of lets the rest of them roam free, doing whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
Well, the understanding that I've gained from our sessions thus far is you are more likely to have this weak king, right? The the vision, the ultimate source of truth, like that's the goal we're going for, and everyone's going to work together in my own head to get us there. This is the truth. This is where we're going. We are going there by hell or high water, isn't there. Right? The ability to make really clear, decisive decisions and know that you are going to make it work out isn't there. Right? And we mentioned this, I think, in either the first or second session. It's this fear of responsibility, because the moment you take it on, what happens if you fail? Right? All of these things are very typical of a weak king, and I can say this because that was me too. So I've lived this. Okay. Comparably, right? If this was inverted and you had an overly like tyrannical king, for want of a better phrase, it would show up as being very controlling. It would show up as being, you know, massively egotistical. It would show up as, you know, my way or the highway. Everyone else is wrong. Everyone else can go fuck themselves, right? What we're trying to do is strike a balance between those two things. So it looks like you have a clear vision and you can communicate not only to, you know, the other archetypes within your head, but to other people in your life, right? So for example, Yaz knows, hey, this is where we're going. This is why we're doing it. This is what that means. This is how we're going to get there. And she says, wow, okay, this is amazing. I know exactly what it's expected of me. I know exactly what I can expect from him. I know what I need to do to contribute. I know what he's going to do to lead it, right? You're making decisions, not what's best for you, but what is best for everyone, right? So like if you imagine both the internal machinations of your own mind, you've got the warrior, the king, the magician, the lover, but within your quote unquote dominion, you have your wife, your kids, your business partners, or your business partner, your employees, the franchisees for the dumpling business, right? All of these things fall within your dominion. And it's a weird way of phrasing it because obviously you don't own any of this, right? Minus the business. But it's helpful from the position of like understanding your role within an organic system of saying, okay, well, if I am, you know, if I'm meant to lead my family and provide for them and do all of those kinds of like provisional elements, that is in the same vein as a king would, right? You have dominion over your kingdom and it's your job to make sure that, you know, people are fed and people are safe and people are blah, 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 right? Within the same context of your business, right? As the CEO, you're leading that business. You are setting the vision, you're setting the standards, you're setting the acceptable working hours, blah, 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 right? But you lead from a place of love. You don't lead from a place of control. Yeah. Then the next thing is like, okay, as a very strong and integrated king, you are going to take responsibility of everything that happens within that. It means that you don't shirk responsibility, you actively pursue it. Yeah? And then it's like, for example, you'll see this with a lot of CEOs. They will feel obliged to like micromanage the team. They don't empower their team, they micromanage them. Why? Because they think that the hierarchy is here, this person doesn't know what they're doing, and therefore I need to be the one to make sure that they're doing it to the standard that I want, and I'm going to make sure they do it by peering over their shoulder. Yeah. And then the final one that I would say is probably the most important is you know how to set boundaries that everyone is comfortable with. Yeah. Okay. So from hearing that, and, you know, I realized you've not gone through the book. This is kind of the first entry point to this, right? In your life, as you understand it, as you see it in front of you, where do you feel like you need more king energy? Everywhere is an acceptable answer, but it will just provoke another question.
Where specifically? Oh. It's interesting though, because what comes to mind are there are a number of tangents where what you've explained around the weak king is what I observe on reflection, I suppose. think the biggest things that what stood out the most was being able to set out the vision. And what I find myself doing a lot is not struggling to lock in a vision, because I feel like everything has to be co-created constantly. Has to be co-creation. I can't tell you as we're going because we've got to build this together. I can't say, right, business, we're going here because like Josh has got to buy into this as well, and the team got to buy into it. So it's all a lot of like co-creation, and as a result, nothing really gets laid out. So that's what I took away from that. You on about like making decisions and taking on that responsibility. You know, what's heavily been on the mind the last couple of weeks has been this accounting firm opportunity. To the lengths of me going in and watching this guy run day to day. And yeah, I just can't make a decision. So, you know, what does the vision look like for the family and Yaz? And like, it doesn't exist other than when the business picks up, we'll be able to do more things. Like, there is no clarity. There's nothing of substance. So that's what comes up for me when I guess we talk about this, and trying not to have that encapsulate everything is quite difficult. Okay. And my first thoughts from just reading, first thoughts from just reading like how he describes what the king is, and just that whole like having purpose. Like majority of the time, I just constantly question it. Like, what the fuck am I doing? What is the purpose of the stuff that I choose to do? You know, and I know this is like a now session, but in previous conversations we've had prior to like this stuff kicking off in a more concentrated manner, where we're talking about the other things that I could be doing to drive income and skill sets I could utilize. You know, and me kind of almost sitting around waiting for somebody to give me the answer to what that is, and then basically you're just like, stop being a pussy and fucking choose something. Like, you know, it's obviously prevalent. Like, this is a thing, but it's so hard to put my finger on why it is the way it is. And obviously, you're like well versed to try and help me explore that.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit, right? So one of the first things that you said was, I feel like I have to co-create all of these things with other people.
Yeah.
How come?
I think it's because if I'm the person to say, right, this is what's happening, this is where we're going, there's something within me that starts to question, like, but is this actually what they want? Do they actually want that? And I can only put that down to, I don't know, I'm just thinking about if I was to be really forceful, like with Yasmin, like, this is what we're doing in the next 12 months, 18 months, Oh yeah, I feel like I need to surrender to his ideology and kind of come along for the ride, but it's not somebody powerfully choosing that that's what they want to.
So let me rephrase that. What you're saying is, if you're the one who sets the vision, how do you know whether they want it to?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from personal life, business, like that would ring true in business too, yeah.
Okay. Do you believe you're someone worth following?
Not if my Instagram's anything to go by.
That is the metric by which we should judge good leaders. That's what I've heard.
For fuck's sake, sack him. Am I somebody worth following? Then, in what sense?
Do you believe that, given who you are as a person, that people would want to follow you?
You could probably pull a couple of people together, maybe, yeah.
Don't sound very confident in that, mate.
I suppose I don't know how you associate something to be worth following. I don't know.
Okay, so there are lots of like what I would say are obvious examples of this, right? The big one, big guns upstairs.
Yeah.
When Jesus met his disciples, his instruction was, put down your nets and follow me, sell all of your possessions and join my ministry, right? And what did they do? They went, this fella's the son of God. Yeah, sounds pretty decent to me. Well, fuck all else bad going on in my life. Seems like a pretty worthy cause, right? And away they went, right? Well, when you look at other, like, all these, like, big visionary CEOs, tech CEOs, whatever, they build up this almost cult around them where people are like, I'll go to war for that person. Why?
I don't know. Is it because they believe the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
The status thing?
Belief in the person, belief in the
vision.
It's kind of the big two, right? You either believe in the person so much that you'll follow them into the depths of hell, or you believe in the vision that they have set out, and you look at it and you go, yeah, I want to be on that. I want to be on board that train. Well, if you don't set a vision, then no one will follow that by default.
Yeah.
And if you as an individual do not think that you are worth following, then no one will follow you by default, right? Because how you show up will be as someone that in their own mind doesn't believe they're worth following. So why would anyone be crazy enough to follow the person that doesn't believe in themselves?
Yeah.
Right? So immediately you have both of the reasons why anyone would be happy or would be willing to follow you falling flat the moment you start. So it's a chicken and egg argument, right? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, I mean, it's kind of circular logic. So I'm gonna use a parable from the Bible, right? And if you're not religious, which I don't think you are from memory, like, don't treat it as biblical anything, just treat it as a story, right?
Yeah.
Jesus is on his way back to Cana in Galilee, and as he enters the city, he gets approached by a city official, and the city official says to him, at this point, Jesus is pretty well known for performing miracles, and he says to him, Lord, my son is dying. Please come to my house and heal my son. And Jesus's response is, you people need to see signs and wonders before you will believe. And the city official responds and he says, Lord, please, my son is dying. Come to my house and heal him. And Jesus' response is, go, your son will live. And this city official kind of like takes him at his word and begins the long trek back home. And as he's approaching, as he's on the road approaching his house the following day, one of his servants comes out and meets him and says, Master, you won't believe it. Your son lives. And he asked the servant, when did this happen? And he said, about midday yesterday, which was the same time that he met Jesus. And Jesus said, your son will live. Now, context. Prior to this point, Jesus had only ever healed people that were directly in front of him. So far as the city official knew, Jesus had to be in the presence of this sick person in order to heal them.
Yeah.
Hence the repeated questioning, come to my house, right? Well, the question then becomes, do you need to see signs and wonders in order to believe? Or do you need to believe in order to see the signs and wonders? If the city official didn't believe that Jesus could heal him, would he have asked in the first place? Obviously not, right? But Jesus asks the pertinent question, or makes the pertinent statement, you need to see the signs and wonders before you'll believe.
Yeah.
And I would challenge you in the same way. Do you need to see the evidence that you are someone who is capable of leading, that you are someone who is capable of having followers in order to believe that you are someone worthy of followers that can set a vision that other people will get behind? Or is it enough to know that you are capable of it and therefore to do it under the impression that you will have people who believe in you enough to follow you? Right? Because you get caught in circular logic, right? One has to come before the other. In order to have people follow you, you need to have a vision worth following, or you need to be someone worth following. Well, if you don't have a vision because you believe no one will follow you, you'll never create one. And if you think you're not someone worthy of following, then no one's going to follow you.
Yeah.
So you catch yourself in circular logic. So the problem at hand here is that, like I said, that weak king is the reason that you feel like no one's going to follow me anyway, right? Think about like a small kid, right? It's like, well, why don't you want to play rugby, Timmy? Oh, well, I'm not going to get on the first team anyway. And it's like, well, you've not even tried, mate. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get on. Right? It's that same logic. It's that same feeling. It's like, well, I'm not going to tell them what my vision is because they're not going to follow it anyway. You've already resigned yourself to failure. But what if all it took was actually sitting down and setting the vision? What if that was all it took and you went and presented it, right? To go back to your idea of co-creation, you went and presented it to Yaz, to Josh. You presented it to the dumpling guys and you were like, look, I sat down, I figured it out. This is where I want to take this. I'm open to your feedback. I'm open to a discussion on it. This is not a mandate, right? Because again, remember, this is not tyranny. Yeah. Tyrannical king says you don't have a choice. You will do what I say.
Yeah.
The heart-centered king says, here's what I want. Here are the boundaries. Here is the goal for where I think we should take this. What are your thoughts? And you can co-create then, right? But what you're actually describing when you talk about co-creation is you at 0, someone else at 1, and then you coming up and meeting them in the middle and then figuring it out. Yeah, that's not co-creation. That's someone else leading. Right? They had to take the first step. You didn't.
Yeah.
Right? So when you look within this idea and you figure out actually all it takes for me to be a leader is to actually step up and lead, you now have an ability to do the thing that you are most terrified of because you're terrified of the possible negative of the thing, but you don't want to do the thing so that you don't get the negative. The entire thing collapses and seems illogical, right? Okay. That stems from a weak king. Because you are still that kid who's like, I don't want to play rugby because I won't get picked for the first. And you're like, just fucking try, dude. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. So there's 2 things. Number 1, that probably stems from something when you were a kid. If we're being really like trying to get down to brass tacks, that probably comes from some point in your childhood where you looked at it and you were like, I don't want to fail because if I fail, blank, insert thing here. Right? That's something that we can work on. It's not I don't think it's the most impactful thing. We can find the route, but we still need to build you from where you're at now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to add on a small addendum, and then we're gonna do the fun bit. Okay. So a couple of years ago, my mentor sent me to watch the first day of I think it was a 4-day or 3-day leadership intensive. It was run by a guy called Nate Bailey, and they basically take CEOs, execs, whatever, and they put them through this like boot camp style leadership training course, right? They're all ex-military. There's Navy SEALs, there's, members of the National Guard, you name it, like they're the leaders. And then, you random business execs who need a bit of kick in the ass, for want of a better phrase, go to this, and then they basically get whipped into shape. Want a better simplified understanding. And at the start of this day, they all get given a backpack with a water bottle, a notepad, a book, and I think a water bottle. Oh, yeah, that was it. Backpack, water bottle, pen, And that's it, right? And they all get handed these things, and they say, okay, no, sorry, there were 2 notebooks. 2 notebooks, that was it. One of them was for daily notes, and then one was for important stuff. That was it. 2 notebooks, water bottle, pen, backpack. They get given this at the start of the day, and they all get told the same instruction, which is you have to remember these 4 rules. In the next 4 days, these 4 rules become the most paramount things to you. Remember them at all times. Leaders lead, be open, details matter, and all in all the time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they go on to explain these over the course of the day. Or over the course of the first day that we watched, and they had to like embody these rules. I'll explain the other 3 at another point, but leaders lead is the idea that in any given situation, there is always going to be the requirement of leadership. In any situation, right? It could be something as stupid as, let's say your flight gets cancelled.
Yeah.
Right. And you see it oftentimes, there's like 40 people all crowded around the customer support person's desk, and everyone's screaming at them, and they're getting flustered, and nothing's getting done, and they're trying to field questions from everyone, and it's just a shit show from start to finish. Who is leading in that situation?
Is leadership present, or is this a trick question?
You can treat it as a trick question if you like.
I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to envisage a scenario. I suppose the person still leading or holds the key to the chest is the customer service chick.
Through one lens, I would say yes.
Yeah.
But I want you to think from the perspective of the mob. Who's leading?
Oh, the person who shouts the loudest, maybe?
Correct. 100%. Yes, exactly that, right? The person who is the most loud or aggressive or whatever wins, right? And then everyone else shuts up while they voice their issues, and the cycle repeats, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, someone is going to lead at all points. Now, what is a more useful mechanism for that issue? Take the idea of leaders lead. Someone is always going to lead. How could you solve that problem through leadership in that moment?
As part of the mob. Somebody as part of the mob. Yeah, I suppose, like, in my mind would be almost fucking pulling everybody together and then nominating one person to interact with said chick behind the desk.
100%. Right? Everyone shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and deal with this. We will get this resolved, but everyone screaming at her is not helpful.
Yeah.
Right? That's leadership. Right? Leaders lead. There is always going to be someone volunteers and steps up. But is the person who shouts the loudest, you use that part of the example, right? Person who shouts the loudest, is that necessarily the person that is most equipped to lead?
No.
Right. So someone is going to step up and do it. And oftentimes the person that volunteers themselves as the loudest voice in the room, or the strongest voice in the room, or the person who thinks they're the smartest person in the room, is most oftentimes not the right person to do that thing. Right? Someone is going to lead you in every situation. And if you know that actually in this given situation, you are probably the most equipped to lead it, why would you let someone else do it? You are hurting the organization, or you are hurting the organism, or the organic system, or whatever you want to call it, through your own inaction. So, case in point, let's look at your family dynamic.
Yeah.
Should Mateus lead your family dynamic?
No.
Why? What's the obvious answer?
Obviously, he's fucking 4 years old.
Well, yeah, he's a 4-year-old. Don't put a 4-year-old in charge of 2 adults and 2 other kids, right?
No logical selling his body at present.
100%. 100%. With everything going on in Yaz's life now, having to manage 3 kids, should she also be having to manage you?
No.
Is that fair? No. She doesn't need to manage 4 children. She has 3 of her own, right? Is it fair that she has to do that and worry about 3 kids? No, it's not, right? Okay. So leadership within your family dynamic means that you are not only someone that is someone for Yaz to lean on, but you're someone that takes an active role within parenting. You're someone that takes an active role within being a husband, right? You are going to lead in those areas, right? Again, this is not about dominance. It's not about hierarchy. It's about understanding that within any given, organic collection of people, matter, beings, whatever, right? There are going to be people who step up and there are going to be people who look for leadership. And the people who look for leadership, if they are forced into leadership positions, are going to do it in a way that is less beneficial for the whole than someone who knows they are capable of it and chooses to step back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Within your business. Remind me, you worked at a number of large accountancies and therefore understand business at a pretty fundamental level, yes?
Yeah. Remember that.
Right. You understand the inner machinations of a business probably better than someone that has just worked in a business because you understand it from both a practical and a theoretical lens. Okay. Do you think, therefore, that you are probably pretty well equipped to understand not only how a business functions and runs on a daily basis, but forecasting, planning, structure, strategy better than the average person?
Average person, yeah.
Okay, great. Therefore, if someone had just worked in a business before, who is more adept?
I would be.
Okay, great. Leaders lead. If you know that you are capable of this and you choose to be led instead of lead, you are allowing that weak king to be comfortable. You are saying to him, your natural state is not leadership. It is being led by someone. And he says, yeah, I agree. That is how we run as a person. So it only makes sense that that is mirrored in the outside world. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Close your eyes for me. Big deep breath in through your nose. Hold it till I tell you to stop. Big deep breath out. Big deep breath in through your nose. Big deep breath out your mouth. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Okay. I want you to imagine that you are walking up the driveway of a beautiful, enormous mansion, like a palatial, like almost absurdly large looking house. What does the house look like? Describe it to me.
Very palatial. I'm thinking it's like an off cream color with the massive Roman balustrade things at the front.
Okay. Yep.
That reminds me of Grandma's house.
Okay. Okay, and I want you to look at the door.
Yeah.
What does the door look like?
We've got like an oak door. This is very Loire Valley chateau vibe.
Beautiful. Okay, you open the door and it swings open at the lightest of touches. It swings open. And inside, there is a man standing in like the foyer of this house.
Yeah.
That is your king. Describe him to me. What does he look like?
Fuck, he's ugly. First thing I thought of was like this weird ginger tuft coming from underneath his crown with a red velvet cloak on and a white furry trim.
Okay. And when you look at him, what's the first emotion that you feel?
Yeah, probably excitement.
Okay. I want you to walk over to him. And
Yeah.
as you do, you see him form this giant smile, and he extends his arms out as if he's beckoning you for a hug. And he
Yeah.
grabs you and gives you a bear hug.
Yeah.
Says, Alex, it's so good to see you. And as he releases you from this hug, he introduces himself. What is his name?
Can we share the same name?
You can if you'd like. I would hazard a guess that you're this ginger tufted man probably isn't you, which is why I said that he probably, yeah.
I was thinking Alexander the Great.
Yeah,
That's what.
Huh?
I was thinking Alexander the Great. That was the first monarch.
Okay, then Alexander can work. Alexander.
Yeah.
Okay. And Alexander leads you into a room. And in this room, this is where he is the most comfortable. What is in the room?
He's got like a big leather couch, but you know, like with them gold studs on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you would have them, but that's what I see. And I actually see a snooker table as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them globes that you spin.
Mm-hmm.
This is feeling very like medieval.
Mm. And Alexander goes and sits on the couch and he taps it and invites you to sit down.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine now that you are sat next to Alexander. Does he sit on your left or your right?
I would sit on the right side of the couch, so he'd be on my left.
Okay. And now I want you to have a conversation with Alexander. And given the conversation that we've had, it sounds like to me, Alexander has been fairly absent in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you ask him why that was? Say it with your voice. Imagine he was sat in the room next to you.
So I'm asking him why he's been absent in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those specific words, or how I would ask him.
How would you ask him?
I'd probably just ask him like, where have you been? What's been going on?
Okay, great. And what does he respond?
I think he just kind of says like, just being busy. Being the fucking king. I don't know.
Why don't you ask him what he's been busy doing?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Just continue that. Say that again.
Huh?
Say that again. What are you saying?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, what do you mean? Or what have you been doing? And I don't really know where I'm going with it.
You're not going anywhere. You are asking your king.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he respond to? What have you been doing?
What have you been doing? Doing king things, ruling the kingdom. It's been setting the example, showing face for everybody else.
And you, as Alex, do you think, given the conversation that we've had, that he's been doing a particularly good job of that?
If he had been, would I be more aware of him?
Yeah.
And the obvious answer there, then I could proclaim, would be no.
So why don't you have that conversation with him? Don't avoid the hard conversation. Step into it.
Yeah, have you really been showing up as the king? Because this is our first and very distant interaction. And then he said, nah, I've just been pretending and I've been playing snooker all day. Every day. Letting everybody else take care of the kingdom.
How come?
But I am the king. Doesn't really know what he's doing. He doesn't know. Doesn't know what king things are. Beyond the overarching, this is what a king does.
Would you say he's pretending?
Yeah, and just show him face when it's convenient.
Well, if you imagine that your king is the completed version of you, he's achieved all the things. He is you at 100% of all of your stats maxed out.
Yeah.
Would he be wearing a crown and a red robe and looking a bit like Prince John from Robin Hood?
If he was maxed out.
Yeah. If he was you with all of the skill points.
Yeah.
Would that be what he was wearing?
No.
Okay. Well, then I want you to ask Alexander to take you to his wardrobe.
Yeah.
And you walk up the stairs into your bedroom, into his bedroom, and you go to his wardrobe.
Yeah.
And you ask him, are you ready to stop pretending? What does he say to that?
He would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you look inside his wardrobe.
And
you envisage what you would want to look like if you had achieved all of the things in your life, if you'd done all of the things, you've completed it all. You are now the most successful, the most impactful, the most sovereign version of yourself, someone that is capable of leading, that has a vision, and other people are so enamored by it and you that you are that they would be comfortable following you. What does that version of you dress like?
Does it just have to be one type of I'm a little bit torn.
You describe it as you see it.
Yeah, I think he's got a wardrobe. I was going to say split, but we'd probably opt for casual convenience, to be honest.
Okay. So describe it.
Hoodie of some description. Back now in my vibrant personality, it would be a black one. With maybe just a nice set of skinny jeans. But then, like with what we experienced on Friday, where we dressed up for like the wedding shoot and like wearing the suit and the people and the compliments like that. That felt quite nice, but could I be asked wearing a suit every day?
Well, if it was custom to you and it fit like a glove and it didn't feel like the crappy suits you used to wear, would it be fun?
Yeah, if we just wore a suit for the sake of wearing a suit every day, then yeah, but I do enjoy the convenience of the relaxed, chill. I wouldn't be wearing a fairy cloak like Alexander.
Well, then I want you to tell Alexander to give you a fashion show. And first he's going to put on happy, convenient comfort.
Yeah.
And he puts on the jeans and the hoodie.
Yeah.
And you look at him. And now that you see that version of him, does that version of him look like someone who is capable of leading?
In my eyes, yes.
Okay, great. And now he changes out of that and he puts on the suit. Does that person look like he's capable of leading?
Yeah.
Which one of those does Alexander feel like he is the best version of him?
Implying that what he wears has a direct input on how well he can lead, how
on how he feels,
shows up.
Yeah. Feels like there's some tension there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm inclined to say the dressed down version, but that doesn't embody the label of what we know to be.
Worry less about the label. Imagine you see him in front of you.
Yeah.
And he's wearing the hoodie and jeans.
Yeah.
You imagine you see him in front of you and he's wearing this really well-cut, beautiful suit. Which one does he look at himself and go, fuck me, I look the business?
The suit probably gives that vibe off.
Okay.
The aura.
Now, which one does he feel more powerful in? Is it the suit or the hoodie?
I would say the suit.
Well, let's keep him in the suit.
Okay.
So there's no crown, there's no robe. It's just him in a suit. Okay. Would you be comfortable with Alexander giving you advice right now?
Yeah.
How come?
No.
Hmm.
Sorry.
It's okay. How come?
Because nothing's changed other than what he's wearing.
So
He's
you've
still been
got some...
pretending.
He's still what?
He's still been pretending.
Hmm. So now I want you to go back down to the room with the snooker table in it
Yeah.
and sit back down on the couch.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have a tough conversation with Alexander.
Right. Okay.
So you're sat back down on this couch now.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to ask him, where have you been all my life? In those exact words.
Where have you been all my life?
And what does he say?
He says, he just tells me that he's been waiting.
Waiting for what?
He's been waiting for me to go first.
Mm. Okay. I want to try this slightly differently.
Okay.
I want you to ask Alexander
Yeah.
whether he'd be prepared to talk to me.
You want me to ask Alexander, would he be prepared to talk to you,
Correct.
David?
Mm-hmm.
Alexander, would you be prepared to talk to David?
And what does he say?
Says, who the fuck's David?
Well, tell him.
David's this guy that puts me in really uncomfortable situations. He cares deeply. And he's trying to help me figure out where the fuck you've been.
How does Alexander respond to that?
He responds in a really Kiwi way and says, sweet.
Okay. Hi, Alexander.
Am I now speaking for Alexander?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
Hi, David.
So I've been working with Alex now for a couple of weeks, and we've been having conversations about how he really struggles to, show up for himself and the people around him and his business. And I wanted to ask you some questions to see, if you had any idea why that was happening. Does anything spring to mind?
Keyword there being spring to mind. Can you repeat the question, please?
Well, we've been trying to figure out why he can't show up for himself and others in his business and a bunch of other things. And I wondered if you, the person that's been, that's meant to have been managing this, but from what Alex tells me, you've been playing snooker all day, wondering if you knew why he was struggling to show up.
Sorry. It's interesting because I'm trying to think so hard and yet I almost feel like a little bit nauseous.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Unsurprisingly expected.
Yeah.
You are trying to force this. You, Alex, are trying to force this.
Yeah.
And this sense of nausea and anxiety is quite literally your subconscious mind resisting you. Because it's the first time that this has even remotely been a possibility where you are accessing a part of your subconscious mind that has been so dormant for so long that physiologically your body is freaking out because it's like, what the hell is going on? So don't try and force it. Relax. And that sounds counterintuitive, but take a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Big deep breath in through your nose. Big deep breath out. Big deep breath in through your nose. Big deep breath out. Big deep breath in through your nose. Big deep breath out. This is not happening by you. It's happening through you. Okay? You do not need to have the answers. Do not think your way through this.
Yeah.
Respond instinctively based on your subconscious, not your conscious mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Alexander, I have a direct question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Have you been playing snooker all of this time and letting Alex fend for himself?
No.
Okay. What have you been doing?
I've been watching from afar to see how he'd cope.
How come? Do you not think that you could have helped him?
Because he doesn't need help.
Interesting. How come?
Because he's strong enough to figure this out.
Do you think if he had your help, it would be really easy for him?
I think it would be easier.
Okay. Well, as his king, do you not think that making his life easier for him is a good thing? Or do you think that he should have to struggle and figure it out for himself?
It would be easier, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want to take away from him realizing what he's capable of.
Well, I think from the conversations that Alex and I have had, he's really looking for that leadership and guidance that I think you could give him. Is that something you're open to?
Yeah.
And what makes you want to, sit and watch from the sidelines and make him prove himself?
Because nobody can take that away from him.
Well, you and Alex are on the same team, right? Well, if you helped Alex, would you hold that over his head?
No.
Okay. Well, if you weren't planning on holding it over his head, then what do you have to be worried about if you help him?
They're actually isn't anything to worry about.
Okay. So if Alex needed wise counsel, could he come back here and talk to you?
Yeah. Yeah, he's more than welcome to.
And would you give him the time of day instead of trying to make him figure it out himself? If he needs to come back and talk to you at any point, are you going to be there and present and ready and waiting to help him?
Yeah, I always was here. He just never asked.
And if you could give me some advice to tell Alex about asking for help. I know that you want him to do it all by himself, and now he knows he has you in his corner, which will probably be helpful. But throughout his life, he's always tried to do everything by himself. And now I think he's so tired of it that now he's waiting for other people to make the first move. Doing the opposite of what you would want in terms of what's best for him. Have you got any advice for him on that? How would you respond? If you were in his situation, how would you be taking action?
He's just got to pull his finger out his ass and fucking do it. Just ask. What's the worst that's going to happen?
And based on what you've observed, what's really been causing him to sit with his finger up his ass?
I think he's in a privileged position whereby he's got so many different options that he doesn't know which one to commit to. So commits to nothing.
And if you could advise him, which one would you what would you tell him to do?
I tell him to put his family first.
And
build everything else around that.
I think that's pretty good feedback. Thank you for your time. I'll make sure that Alex is a more regular visitor.
Please don't.
How come?
I find that quite hard.
What do you mean?
Sorry, I'm assuming this episode is finished. It may not have done. Could have jumped the gun.
Was that you as Alex saying that was hard? Or was that you as Alexander saying it was hard?
No, that was me as Alex.
Okay. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. Big deep breath in through your nose. Big deep breath out. Big deep breath in through your nose. Big deep breath out. All right, open your eyes for me. Why was that so difficult?
I think it was a few things. Just the start of it. Just, potentially a bit of like, what the fuck am I doing? Ego stuff.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I role playing right now?
Yep.
The other thing I suppose I struggle with is like understanding why we carry out certain exercises and almost trying to make them consciously productive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're yeah.
Like, I don't want to waste time. Don't want to waste your time with what you're given, and always want there to be something to work from.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I just find like when you're trying to, yeah, maybe like towards the end when you said like it has to be more of like an instinctive as opposed to like a conscious thing. Yeah, I think what came up for me, like before you reframed, it was towards the very end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why it wasn't why is he inside with his finger up his ass. It's an early question. What instinctively came to mind was like love, being in love, being aligned. If that alignment isn't there, then what's the fucking purpose in kind of anything else that exists? Or why would you pour time into anything else? So that instinctively came up, but I didn't know how to verbalize it. But then that molded into, you know, the whole family first thing. Like, that's the North Star, shining star, then everything to build off the back of that, really.
Yeah. So I want you to realize, right, like the progression of that exercise. At the start, you were very much still in the vein of like, this is dumb. I don't want to do this. This is bullshit. This feels like a waste of time, right? And throughout that exercise, we kind of had to unpack it. And we got there eventually where you got into a more intuitive state. And you were like, okay. And then the answers started flooding out of you. And if you look at what Alexander was saying to me instead of you, he didn't want to be involved because you have to figure out stuff yourself. Why? Because then no one can take that away from you. But aren't you meant to be on the same team? Well, yeah, I guess. Okay, well then are you going to hold it over his head? No. Okay. Right? And this mirrors all of the stuff that we've been talking about, but now this is almost like a direct line to your subconscious. And you are so terrified of having someone else take the achievement from you that you don't want to ask for help. And that, again, is mirrored in your personal life. However, in your mind, if they initiate, you're not asking for help. You're simply following their lead, and that's acceptable. So when you combine two sides of it, right, you don't want to mandate a course of action because then people are going to think you're a bad person. You don't actively want to ask for help because then people will think you're weak.
Yeah.
It leaves you in limbo because you're screwed if you do and you're screwed if you don't. Right? And this, when it comes together, leads you to all of the behaviors that you currently look at and get frustrated with. Well, what was the advice that your king gave you? Put your family first. That's the North Star. Okay. Well, how does that show up in your daily life? What does that look like tangibly in your mind?
I think first and foremost, it's just having the choice to be present within sociable hours.
Okay, great. How do you do that?
Tell you as we're homeschooling the kids. How do I do that? That's a great fact. I don't know. It's interesting because the more that we talk about stuff, like it's somewhat, we're in a privileged position where it's actually relatively easily attainable.
So then how do you attain it?
Just choose it.
Okay, great. What does that look like? How do you do that? If that is what you want, and now we are moving you towards the idea that you can set, essentially set a vision and then take steps to achieve it.
Yeah.
Well, how do you do it? If you're going to set that vision and take steps to achieve it, what is the vision? In one line.
Fuck, I don't know. I do know I don't know. It would be to choose freely at any moment of the day with no regards for money or other people.
Okay. It's kind of vague.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it.
I think you do. I think you're uncomfortable with where you want to take it, is my honest answer. Because it goes back to that same vision issue, right? You're scared, what if that vision is something that other people won't like, or other people will think I'm an asshole for, or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we existed in a vacuum where it was just us and nobody else, and anyone else's opinions about your vision were categorically irrelevant because it was just you, what would you say? What do you mean nothing?
Because you're essentially saying, like, choose whatever the fuck you want in a realm of a million different choices. Like, you can choose whatever you want.
Agreed. What do you want? Okay. Okay. Then let's go the opposite way. Let's go the opposite way. So I think you are not alone in your inability to choose what you want. I think that's a very common issue for most people. So you may not know exactly what you want, but I can almost guarantee you that you know exactly what you don't want. What would your idea of hell be?
My idea of hell would be...
Let's break it down. Go even simpler.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to run along the lines of, like, obviously having children and a wife and a place to call home, but...
Those are all of your idea of hell?
Oh, it's getting there. But not having the time or financial freedom to spend being present within that.
Okay. Let's go really, really niche, and then we'll build outwards. Yeah. Within the context of your work, what would be the idea of hell?
It would be being on the clock and people being on the clock with eyes on everything that I do.
Perfect.
Would be my idea of hell.
Perfect. So let's invert that. If we're saying that would be your idea of hell, your idea of heaven would be the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So not being on the clock, meaning that you got to choose your own hours?
Flexibility, whether I show up today or I don't.
Okay.
Whether I'm going playing golf or I'm not, whether I'm going to swimming with the kids or I'm not. And my phone's not going to ring.
Run without you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So immediately, we now have clarity. You want a business that does not require your day-to-day input.
However,
okay,
I don't mind the day-to-day input so long as it's still on my terms.
Okay, and what does on your terms mean?
I choose what I do, when I do, how long I do it for, what I get to bill on the other side of it, within them parameters, that is.
Okay. For that to be true, the business does still realistically need to run without you, right? Because then you can dip your toe in and dip your toe out whenever you want, and you can take more of essentially like a chairman role where you oversee it and you can kind of go, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to get really involved in this initiative.
Yeah.
But I don't need to be managing the whole system.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're still at a business that runs without me thing, right? Okay, cool. From a family life, what would your idea of hell be?
Idea of hell would be having to say no more often than I say yes because of financial constraints.
Okay.
Fuck, what are the... What sort of examples sit in that space? Because I think, depending on your perspective, like, just to have a family is such a blessing, really. Hell being not being able to see them or not having a relationship with them. Is this making any sense?
Yeah. You want to be present. You want to be active.
Yeah.
You want to have a close familial bond.
Yeah, I want to just have epic experiences with them.
Okay, great. So you want a business that runs without you. You want close family bonds with experiences and fun and essentially like connection with your family. Okay, great. Now, within your own personal life, what would be your own personal hell?
Probably the ill health.
Okay.
The personal hells. If I didn't have people to converse with and love me and support me and want to spend time with me.
Okay. Healthy, social. Yeah. Okay, great. How do you build all of those things? That becomes the projects that you throw yourself into. How do you build a business that doesn't require you? There are steps associated with that, right?
Yeah.
This is what I call. Go on.
You say that, and then I reflect, and I'm like, well, I kind of have that at the moment.
Interesting.
On one angle. The other angle, I've booked 50 people into webinar this week. But I've fucking booked them into a fucking webinar. Over 300 text messages in a day and a half. So that business isn't doing that for me right now.
Okay. But the reality is the business that you've been building for what, the last 3 or 4 years?
6.
The last 6 years now functions essentially without you.
Correct.
Okay.
Completely.
The business that you started a year and a half, 2 years ago?
The dumpling shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. We purchased, actually.
Yeah. Okay, purchased. Doesn't run without you yet.
Oh, yeah.
But if you've done it once, can you do it again?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're pretty solid at actually enabling that as a dream and as a dream life. You've already done it once. Can you do it again? Yes, theoretically, right? Okay, so we're not in uncharted waters here then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Within your family life, as of right now, the experiences might have to be put on hold. But can you develop a closeness and a connection with them?
Yeah, we already, that exists.
It exists. Is it as deep as you wanted it to be? If we compare it to your ideal of heaven, is it as close? Is it perfect?
No, it's not. No, it's not perfect.
Okay, great. How do you get it closer to that? How do you show up differently? What do you do differently? Very specifically. This isn't like a rhetorical, like, oh, what if? Like, it's a how do you actually do it? It's not about achieving perfection. It's about getting closer to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just choosing to show up, isn't it?
Okay.
End of the day.
Show
What
up
else
how?
does it require?
Because I mean, so this is an interesting thing, right? Like you say, it's choosing to show up, but if you're present but not active,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you're showing up, but you're not showing up well.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, you can be present, but what does that actually mean?
It means sitting and watching them entertain themselves.
Mm.
Not being the entertainer.
Does it? Is that how you want to show up?
No, that's how it currently exists. Sorry.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So then what's the version of that that looks more like heaven?
That I'm active as opposed to passive.
Perfect. How do you do that?
I don't know. Fucking sit him down and force him to read a book with me. Take him to the bike park when he asks.
Seems pretty easy.
Seems pretty simple. It is pretty easy to do. Yeah.
Can you read?
Evidently not.
Can you drive?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do both of those things.
Yeah, I can do it.
Are they difficult tasks?
No.
So then what makes them not easy?
This?
What's that?
This is work and noise, distraction, and better things to be doing.
What better things to be doing are there than forming a relationship with your kids?
There aren't.
You just said that there were better things to be doing. So you must believe it by some element.
Yeah, I suppose I refer to it as better things to be doing, that because that what comes through on that I associate with what's to come in the future for the children.
Do you think the kids will give a shit if your business is making 8 figures?
No.
Do you think they'll give a shit if they don't have a present father in their life?
Yeah.
What would you rather? Your business goes, or businesses at this point, go on to become extraordinarily successful, and you look at it and you pat yourself on the back and be like, fucking hell, you were a really good businessman. And your kids fucking hate you. Or your businesses do pretty well. They don't go on to win any major awards. You don't, get acquired for 9 figures or 8 figures.
Yeah.
But you have a really good relationship with your kids. Which one do you want?
Pick. The latter.
Okay, great. So then which one's more important, your phone or your kids?
The kids.
Well, then respectfully pull your thumb out your ass.
Fuck you.
The relationship that you have with your stepdad.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's an amazing relationship?
No, it's non-existent.
Right. The relationship that you have with your actual dad. How's that?
That's as good as the one with stepdad.
Do you want to repeat that cycle?
No.
Do you have the opportunity to not repeat that cycle?
Yeah.
Well, you have a choice to make. Either you can focus on doing things that are going to make you feel like you are an accomplished, achieved man, or you can pour into your kids and show them that you are. You have the blessing of not one, not two, but 3 children. And you can build a business for them, but if they don't see you in the interim, what's the bloody point?
Yeah.
Because it's not for them, it's for you. And that is the problem that every entrepreneur faces, is that they say that they're building their business for their kids, but their kids never see them. Kids don't have a relationship with them. Kids don't know anything apart from dad's not around.
Yeah.
From the perspective of a child, if you see that your dad's never around, what is the only logical conclusion you can draw?
Didn't love me.
Do you love your kids?
Yeah, of course.
Of course you do, right? So then show up for them, because that's how they understand love.
Yeah.
They don't understand it from your perspective, which is, I'm doing this so that we can have a comfortable life. They don't get that. They just say dad's not around, therefore dad must not love me, right? When we're kids, our brains don't understand and can't conceptualize other people's rationale for things. We can only internalize it through our view of the world. So when your parents were having an argument, you think it must be something that I've done. You're not thinking, well, mum and dad must have had a stressful week at work, and, you know, parents fight because parents fight, and it's not that big of a deal, and they love each other, and they're going to move on, and it's whatever. It's mummy and daddy are fighting because I'm bad. Yeah. So your kids aren't looking at it through the lens of dad's working on his vision so that we can have a more comfortable life. Dad's just never around. Dad doesn't take me to the bike park because he's too busy. And that must mean that whatever he's doing is more important than me. And that must mean that he must not love me.
Yeah.
Now, you know that's not true, but your kids don't. How could they possibly? Right? In the same vein, when you look at your relationship with Yaz, you're working as hard as you do so that you can provide for your family, right? But from a simple economics perspective, the marginal utility of you spending an extra hour at work versus spending an extra hour with your family. Well, yeah, if you do an extra hour of work, you're probably going to get to the final destination of your business, let's say 0.5% faster. Let's say hypothetically, right? Well, if you spend an extra hour with your family, how deep do those relationships get? How deep does the relationship with your wife get? How deep does the relationship with your kids get if you get an extra hour a night with them?
Yeah.
You make a massive dent in the family. You make a very, 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 very tiny impact in the business. And if the overarching logic is, I'm doing this for them, well, how about instead of doing it indirectly, you do it directly? Your homework. I want you to pick one thing that you can do for the kids and one thing that you can do for Yaz every single day that helps them see that you are showing up for them. If, according to Alexander, your family is your North Star, then just do it every day. You wouldn't go to the gym twice in a year and be like, okay, cool, that's what I need to do in order to fucking drop some weight and put on some muscle, right? You do it every single day. It'd become a thing that you did by default. Same as. Apply the same logic. What are you going to do every single day for your kids that shows that you're showing up?
I will take, I'll take both of them to the park after kindy.
Perfect. How can you do that for Yaz every day? Not twice a week, every single day.
For the rest of time, or just this week?
Let's work on just this week for now, shall we? Let's try and build a 7-day speed.
Because I was gonna say, you know what? I'll make her a brew in the morning.
Okay.
I don't know if I can commit to that for the rest of my life because I love her making a brew. But I can flip the agenda for this week.
Is that something that you think is annoying or frustrating for you, or is that something that you think she'll really value?
I think she'd really value the kid stuff.
Okay. What could you do for her that she would really value?
Not a direct thing for her other than giving her an hour of
peace and quiet.
peace and quiet, yeah.
What could you do for her?
I could give her a sensual massage.
Would she value that?
Yeah, she likes a trotter's rub now and again.
Do you know Yaz's love languages?
Yeah.
Okay. What's her love languages?
She's a quality time, physical touch kind of gal.
Okay. Well, address the big one at the top, quality time. How do you get quality time with Yaz?
I could take her for a coffee every day. Could that work? That could work.
Great. Do that. Doesn't have to be big and you know.
No, not at all. I think again, this maybe comes back to like how privileged we actually are with what our day to day looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got it pretty fucking good, really.
Good. So then how can you create those moments of intimacy between you every single day where you show up and you say, you're a priority, I love you? This is the wife. This is your wife. This is the mother of your kids. How do you show her every single day that she's a priority? Take her for a coffee. It could be something small. It doesn't have to be, big, absurdist gifts or whatever else.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the Maldives every year. But how do you show up consistently?
Yeah, that just concentrated moments of time.
Perfect. Commit to that every day for this week. Take the kids to the park every day after kindy. Take your wife for coffee every day. See what happens in a week. Okay. Standard practice. Voice note tomorrow.
Yeah. I didn't do one last week. I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't a necessity last week, but this week it definitely will be.
Yeah, okay. And get this book read as well.
Read the book, voice note, do the things we talked about with your wife and kids.
Sweet. That's a bit of a mammoth moment.
It is a bit of a mammoth.
Holy shit. What else have you got?